all. Quality makes it a Colt.
That soldier smiling pretty much sums up my feelings when I was coming home from the range after shooting this Colt M4. Let me tell you something. This gun just worked. It's a carbine length gas system, and I never used to be a big fan of the carbine length gas system, but this gun is gassed perfect. Consistent ejection, 3-4 o'clock. I really haven't had super good luck with new firearms lately. This gun has definitely changed it around, turned it around for me. This was super easy to zero. One thing I forgot to mention in the unboxing is this front sight here is not F marked, but it is the correct height. This literally took like nothing, like a couple shots to zero. What I did was I actually cleaned all the grease off first, and then I re-oiled it with CLP because I wasn't too sure if you were able to shoot this thing with the Colt grease on it or not. And that was the first time since pretty much ordering a musket that I've gotten a rifle that was covered in grease. But this thing is absolutely awesome. I can't wait to get my new one. So the CR marking here, let me go into this side here. The CR prefix, I believe, or I don't believe, I know that started well before these guns were re-released in 2021. That started in I think 2018 or something. They got rid of the LE, and if you go on their website, I know it's just hard to believe. I see a lot of people who are like, well, I don't even know what the CR stands for. Well, if you go on their website, it tells you. It stands for Colt Rifle. I mean, if you do a little research, it'll be okay. Alright, and then also, so a lot of people are complaining about the laser etching on the bolt and stuff. Like the laser C. Pull it out here once, see if we can try to show you. It's oily, but about that laser C there. And I'll admit that I'm not a huge fan of that either. I mean, as long as it's marked, I guess it doesn't matter. But so I saw a couple videos, and to me it looks like they started doing that in 2019. So that's not nothing new with these new production guns either. That's something they've been doing. Also, I've seen a lot of things about their barrels and how they have a lot of parts that aren't made in-house. But I also see a lot of things about people saying that Colt hasn't made barrels in-house since the Vietnam era. And I don't know if that's true or not. As far as I'm concerned, this gun shoots really good. And this is a really good barrel on this gun. It is marked MP. Oh, that's the other thing. The MP, if you listen to Chris Portacci on Small Arm Solution, which, by the way, go check him out if you haven't seen him. I learned a lot from him. I absolutely love his stuff. But he gives off the impression that they changed that MP mark under these 2021 and newer, like CZ did it, and therefore it's not a Colt barrel. Well, that's not true at all either, because I saw a couple rifles on YouTube from 2019, late 2018, 2019, with that same, where the M and the P are two separate characters. So that's something that Colt did before it was took over by CZ as well. I'm not sure why they did that. Also, this barrel has an eye on it, and I have another Colt rifle from 2009, and that also has an eye on it. So I don't know. I don't work for Colt, never have. I just know what I know from listening to people on the internet. I'm not sure if they're making their barrels in-house or not. I'm not sure if they ever did, to be honest with you. As long as they're checking the stuff and making sure it's quality. I mean, here's like a truth dart here. A lot of people complain about these rifles not being, you know, total Colts and made in-house, but BCM doesn't make all their stuff in-house either. They don't. They get bolt carrier groups, they get barrels, they get everything brought in, and they do a QC testing regime, and then they stamp everything BCM, and it goes out the door. Now, it's a quality product. I'm not saying it's not, although I do have some reservations about BCM. But and so why can't Colt do the same thing? Colt can do the same thing. And PSA is the same way. They don't make all their stuff. Toolcraft does. Now they own Toolcraft. Also, one more thing that I discovered, and like, so I'm not a huge Colt guy, so I'm kind of learning this stuff as I've just been doing research on these Colts and stuff. So if you, yeah, I'm sure everyone knows who Forgotten Weapons is. He has a video called "Who is Colt?" and in that video, he talks about how Colt has been owned by mega U.S. companies that only cared about profits since like the late 80s or the 90s. So it's not like, I hear this all the time with Colt collectors. I want an original Colt. Well, first of all, what you have, any AR you have is not original Colt. And Samuel Colt died in like 1863, 4. He died like in the middle of the Civil War or something like that. I don't know the exact date. So, I mean, if you want an OG Colt, I mean, I guess you're getting something from the early 1800s. Other than that, it's not been owned by Samuel Colt, so it's not a real Colt, you know. But I'm just making fun of some people. But anyways, so this gun here, let me show you these groups here. These are at 50 yards. So this was the first group here. And again, this was iron sights, and I will admit that this is kind of a poopy group. This is 2 inches, a little over 2 inches. I don't know if you can see that or not. What I do is I get super, I don't want to say nervous, but I try super hard whenever I know I want to shoot a group to show on the to show on my YouTube channel, and I end up doing this dumb shit. So I calm myself down, and I was able to get this group here with iron sights. Again, this is 50 yards. This is under 1 inch. Not by much, but still under 1 inch. I shot these groups after I put 100 rounds through this gun to kind of break in the barrel a little bit. And again, that was from a bench. You guys know how I shoot on the like a gun rest type thing, not locked down. So this mil-spec trigger is something else I wanted to cover on this gun. So clear this out here once we are clear. Okay. So I don't normally show clear, but if I'm gonna pull the trigger, I always like to just double check for myself, not for the internet. But this mil-spec trigger is different than PSA's mil-spec trigger. This is heavy-ish, but I'm telling you what, it is a really good trigger. It's smooth, it's not gritty. Let's just see here once. I'm new at this. I recently bought this thing. Actually, it's not going to work. It's unsafe. Okay. Try it again. This is just a cheap trigger gauge. Let's see here once. So it's about 6.5 pounds. Try it again. Like I said, it is heavy, but it's not gritty. It's not. It's nice. It's very nice for a mil-spec trigger. Try and get this here. Again, about exactly like 6.5 pounds. So, and that was about 6.5 pounds both times. So this trigger is, I mean, and I noticed it when I was shooting it. I was like, man, this is such a nice trigger. The only other thing I did to it since you last saw it was I put this Colt side sling swivel on here. This wasn't too bad, but I cannot wait to get this thing back out. Sorry, I guess I didn't tell you how many rounds I shot through it. So I shot 200 rounds through it with no issues. And those groups I was showing you, that was shooting Lake City green tip 55 or 62 grain. It's mil-spec ammo with a steel core penetrator, which if you know anything about ARs, you know that that ammo is not trash, but it's pretty close to it. Especially for target work. Because what happens is that lead core can be off a little bit, and if it's off a little bit, it'll make the round fucking go to one way or the other. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have. I would definitely consider one of these new Colts. I think if you don't at least consider it, you're doing yourself an injustice, because these guns are awesome, and I wouldn't let anyone tell you anything otherwise. I have another one. By the time you watch this video, I will have the SOCOM, and I will do a video on that, but you're not going to see that for like 2 weeks. But I will post that video up unless I get that gun and it's complete trash, which I don't think it will be. Then I'll post a video right away. But I really think you should consider a Colt. Do they outsource parts? Yeah, yes they do. I'm sure they do. But so does everybody else. Besides, I mean, obviously your top tier companies, LWRC, Daniel Defense, I think they make their own parts. I think Daniel Defense even hammer forges their own barrels. But what we're concerned with is whenever they outsource the parts, do they still make sure that they are quality parts? And so far, I'm going to say yes. This gun is just the gassing of the gun, to me, says that they took the time to make sure that everything was correct. I really can't rave enough about this gun. I just absolutely love it. I'm glad I bought the other one, and I'm looking forward to doing more Colt videos. So, anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to leave them in the the comment section.